Hello and welcome to our next stage of our tutorial in Unity. So we're just going to build on our previous session. So we have a small game here. Well, it's not hardly a game yet, but we have a character who can take damage. And we can see the health is diminishing on collision. So we had done that in the last tutorial. So what we want to do now is just build on that and do something quite simple. What we want to do is make a health bar. So not a numeric score here that's showing us the health, which is what we have here. And if we double click on that and zoom out, so let's position this up here. So there's our health. But what we want to make now is an actual health bar that you would see in the vast majority of games. You will have like sort of a green bar indicating what the health status of your character is. So we need to do two things. We need to make the health bar, and then we need to amend our health script, which I've done already. So I'll talk you through that. So I'm going to go to my canvas and I'm going to create a UI image. Now I could put an image into this, but I'm just going to leave it as a kind of a generic solid color, and I'm going to move this to the top of my display, and I'm going to give it a width of say 400. And actually let's move it over here up beside where our health number is. Okay, and we're going to call this health BG, health background. And then inside of this we're going to create another image, and it's important that one is inside the other. So I'm going to create another image, and this image is going to be called health bar, and this health bar we're going to make this green. Okay, and now we can actually see it here. We can see that it's a green square basically inside our white background. Now we'll go back to our white background here. We'll change that, make it sort of a charcoaly grey. Okay, so what I want to do with this health bar here is, at the moment, we're going to change the health by changing this value here, this scale value on X. So at the moment, if I change the scale value on X, it will go from being the full width of this rectangle, and it'll get slimmer on both sides. And what we want is actually the green to remain on the left hand side and just move from the top down this way. And there's no reason for it to do that, except it just follows sort of a convention. So in order to do that, I'm going to go here, so with my health bar selected, and I'm going to tell it that the anchor point is over here. So then let's change the width of this, and we can just type in 400 rather than doing that. And now when we change the X scale, you can see it's still getting bigger and smaller. So what we also have to do is change its pivot point. So I've held down the Shift key and I've left clicked. And you can see where I hold down the Shift key, I've got the blue dot appears. So now we've told it that the blue dot is also over here, its pivot point is on the left. So now when I change the scale, you can see that it scales down from right to left as we change this number. Okay, so that's the first sort of important setup, to create the bar in such a way that it scales to follow our convention of full health is a bar that goes across and then it diminishes from right to left. Now, so the next stage is just to script that, but before we do that, we'll have a little chat about ratios. So we are trying to get, we're trying to express the health as in a ratio of 0 to 1. So if we're at a health of 0, so if I type in 0 here, the green line is completely off here to the left, and if it's 0.1, so I've got basically 10% of my health, or if it's 0.9, I've got 90% of my health. So we want to express our health as as a percentage almost, or as in a ratio. And how we do that is very simply we just divide our maximum health by our current health. So when I press play, my maximum health is 10. So if I divide 10 into 10, I get 1. So it'll be full. And then if I hit this here, I'll have 9. So 9, so if I want to divide my maximum health by my current health, I'll get or it'll be displayed as 0.9 or 0.8. So it's about dividing one number into the other. So let's have a look at that in terms of our script. So this is our health control script here. So we'll just open this up in MonoDevelop. There we go. So we were using this script already, and we already had this value here. So this was our health.text, and we were displaying that numerically. And we already had this line of text here, which said the text field in this text box here should be our health score. And our health score was over here. So we have a health of 10, and we had said on collision -1, when we hit evil bullet -1 off health. Okay. So what I've done is I've put in a reference to an image, because we have to tell Unity which image we want to, in the UI, that we want to change. So that's important that we've done that, and we reference that here. And I've said, so health bar, so that image, .rect transform, so transform its the box that image is in, and I want to change its local scale, and I'm saying that the local scale is a vector 3, so x, y, and z, and I want to change the x value, so the horizontal value, and I want to leave the vertical value and the z value, which we're obviously not going to use in a 2D game. So I'm going to leave these the same, and I just want to change that one. So I want to change how wide it is. And then how much do I want to change how wide it is? Well, by this number here, ratio. So what's the ratio? So I've declared a new float, and I've said this is what ratio is. Ratio is this number here, the health number that I'm picking out of this script because it's a static variable. So I'm saying take that number, health, and divide it by my max hit points. And that will give me a number here that I can put in here to its height. So if I have if I had 1 over 2, that would give me 0.5, so a half would turn into 0.5. If I had 1 over 3 and I divided, I'd get 3.333 recurring, so this would be 0.3. So this number here will always express what we have. So if my current health is 9 and I divide 10 into 9, I get 0.9, so that'll be 0.9. If my current health is 5 and I divide 10 into 5, I'll get 0.5. So this is and it doesn't matter what numbers you use. If my max health was 150 and my current health was 27, when you do the maths, you'll get a ratio between 0 and 1, and it will express the correct sort of health remaining. Okay, so that's how this works in terms of so it's quite a simple little script. We're just doing very basic maths, and then using the basic maths to change the x value of the rectangle that the image is in. And then the last thing we have to do is we had placed that script, the health script, onto the actual health text. If you remember, we'd put hello in here and we'd put the script. So it says health bar, so we need to tell it what image do we want to change the size of, and it's this one here. This is my health bar, so I'm going to drag and drop that in there. So now when I press play, I should have a full health bar, and if I hit one of these green dots, you can see as my health goes down, the health bar also diminishes. And I've put the rectangle in the background, the grey rectangle, to give an indication as to what would, the green bar in relation to what. Is it the full width of the screen, or and then we're at 0. Okay, so we can also then take our original health and just turn it off. We don't need that now. So now we don't need that numeric value. We can just have a health bar that is a purely oh, actually that's not true. I do need it because I need to run the script that's on this. What I can do is I can turn off the image, so now I can't see it, and I can do the same over here. So my canvas renderer, okay. So we can turn off yeah, so we can change the we can. Now I think if I turn that off, actually I won't get my number, so I think I should just make it transparent and give it an alpha value down here, so now I can't see it. Now there is a way around that. I can just park it off screen so I can't see it, but now it still exists in the game, but I'm not seeing the button on screen, so it will be just easy to move it off screen to use this technique. So that's all we're looking at today. That's all we're going to build in class, and we will then look at how you would take this system and make you could have an equal or a similar system for power, or you could have your enemy health diminish, etc. So how we would use this across our game design. Okay, so we'll leave that for now.